Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is AJ and you are watching Me and Mr. Vuitton. First of all, let's talk about this pullover. I just picked it up at Old Navy and no, it's not freezing in my house. I just wanted to look festive. Okay. It matches perfectly and I didn't do it on purpose. I've had this scarf from Burlington, which by the way, if you don't have a Burlington near you or if you do have one, check them out. They have like the coolest stuff. It's sort of like a TJ Maxx where you have to root around and look through everything. Like don't go in there if you don't have a lot of time to dig. But you can find some really good stuff in Burlington Coat Factory. I got this when I was away for work. It's a super pretty, like plaid, flannel-y scarf with some pinks and beige and I guess it's like a charcoal gray. It just goes with a lot. And then this Sherpa, I just got at Old Navy. It has the gray with the pink zipper, which matches perfectly. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get straight into this video. This is going to be my take on leather surgeons. You've probably watched videos about them before. I know Jerusha Couture had her Birkin redone by them, Spod, whatever. But I wanted to hop on and just really rave about this company because I had an absolutely amazing experience with them. If you haven't had a good experience with them or whatever, I'm sorry, I can only speak to my experience with them. I've worked with them before on a repair for another bag that I had, and they did a great job. But this experience was especially just exceeded my expectations, I guess I would say. So if you watched my channel before when I had other videos on, or if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I had at one time a Birkin, Hermes Birkin, size 40, Clemence leather in the color brick with gold hardware. I sold that bag about 6 or 7 months ago because I wanted to get a smaller Birkin. The brick one was in size 40. I thought I wanted a 35. I sold that bag to, I sold it to a consignment shop called Couture USA. Probably have heard of them. They are down in Florida and they're absolutely amazing. Again, they're just wonderful to work with. You call up, you get a real human on the phone, you email them, you hear back like the same day. They're great. They don't have a huge inventory like a Fashion File or Yogi's Closet, but they're just great to work with. They have online and brick and mortar presence. So in any event, I sold it to them, the Birkin 40 in the color brick, and I purchased the 35. I had the 35, it was in the color Colvert, which is a teal blue color, and it had silver hardware. If you know me, I am a gold hardware girl, die hard to the end, I say as I'm wearing my silver Tiffany bracelets. However, for bags, I am totally gold hardware, 100%. I knew when I got a Birkin or any Hermes bag that the gold hardware was more important to me than color. So I bought the Colvert with silver hardware, palladium hardware, and it just did not, it just didn't make my heart sing, as my girl Minx for all would say. Anyway, at that point, I had kind of fallen out of love with that bag. The size I felt like wasn't quite big enough for me because I had sold the 40 thinking it was too big. For a Birkin, I like a little bit more oversized kind of look. I just feel like that's more, it suits me better. A Kelly is great in a smaller size because it's definitely a more ladylike silhouette and it's more, can be dressed up definitely, in my opinion. So I decided to sell the 35. I was buying a house right then. I needed the money and I wasn't in love with that bag. So it was okay to go ahead and sell it. Sold it to Ian's Fabulous Finds, also another great online consignment shop. Check them out. They were wonderful. They sent me a check. It was all great, whatever. I moved on with my life. So the 40 in brick, I never got out of my mind. I kept thinking about it. I loved that bag. It was really, really sentimental to me. I didn't realize it was, but it truly was because it was my first Hermes bag. It was my first Birkin. I remember the euphoria when I bought that bag and how excited I was to own it. It was almost 20 years old. It's a 2000 model bag, so it definitely had some, beauty marks and some issues with it. But that was okay because I had gotten a really good deal on it. So about a month or so ago, Couture USA, who I had sold the 40 to, still had it in stock. So I contacted them and said, you probably can't sell it to me for what you paid me for it. I understand that. You've marketed it, you've photographed it, you've held it in your inventory, blah, blah, blah. So what can you do for me? And they basically said, we can give you, X amount of discount to go ahead and repurchase the bag. So I chose to do that because I really felt like if I let this bag go, I would never get over it. That's how much I loved it. That's how much sentimental value it truly has to me. So I bought the bag back with the understanding that I would definitely have to send it to leather surgeons or an Hermes spa in order to rejuvenate it to a point where I would feel, you know, very proud to carry it like it wasn't some 20-year-old cast-off bag, but a really, really just beautiful Hermes work of art. So I contacted leather surgeons actually before I had the bag back in my possession and said, you know, I watched Jerusha's video. She kind of quoted some prices, but, you know, here's the link to the bag that I'm thinking of, or that I am purchasing. And what do you suggest? And they said, you know, they got right back to me. They gave me a whole kind of grocery list of all the things that they would do to it. It would need spod, which would include deep conditioning inside and outside of the bag, which I knew it would need. The leather was starting to feel very kind of dry and just not as nice as it should. So they would do a deep conditioning inside and out. They would re-glaze any of the edges as needed, which I knew, again, it needed. There were places on the handle and on the top of the bag, which you will see that needed reglazed. They would, you know, touch it up as needed in terms of color. I wasn't thrilled about that just because it worries me a little bit having the edges painted at all. But I basically left it to their discretion because I knew it would make the bag look phenomenal. And then I also drew their attention, and they saw, of course, that the sides of the bag were slouched in and had lost quite a bit of structure just because of the fact of its age. It was still in great shape, but it definitely had some age slumping because Clemence is such a soft leather. So they said, we'll go ahead and, you know, put new stays in the bag. It'll have the structure. It won't look like a brand new bag out of the boutique, but it's going to look hugely improved for its age. Again, it's a 2000 model bag. So I wanted to insert some pictures before pictures of when I got the bag back in my possession to let you see sort of the condition of the bag before I sent it to leather surgeons. So I got the bag back from Couture USA. I looked at it. Yes, it's the one I wanted. It's the same bag. It's the exact same bag. And so I sent it to leather surgeons, and they received it to they do free shipping both ways. So they sent me a label so I could ship it off to them. And then by the same respect, they sent me a label, or they shipped it back to me at no charge when it was finished. And I shipped it to them. They got it, I believe, on Halloween. And less than, I think like exactly a week later, I got the invoice to pay because it was finished, and I was shocked. And that normally, I don't think that's a normal turn time. They quote 3 to 4 weeks, but it was just a pleasant surprise, and they must not have been that busy at that time. So I would definitely say it's going to take probably 3 to 4 weeks under normal circumstances. So I just wanted to, I'll quit rambling because you probably want to see the bag, but I wanted to show you the results of the spa treatment. I'm going to take this off just so that you can kind of see what's going on with it. I have my luggage tag on there from Louis Vuitton. So this is the bag, same bag I had before. It's the Hermes Birkin 40 in Clemence leather, color brick with gold hardware, of course. This bag is just absolutely beautiful. I've always just loved it. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I know some people think the 40 is ridiculously huge. Whatever, it's my Birkin. I feel like it's just such a work of art, and it has so much sentimental value to me that I had to get it back, and I had to do it justice by having them spa and rejuvenate this bag really to its natural beauty. But the color, for one thing, looks almost different than it did before. It was a little bit dull, you know, your hand oils, and after 20 years of use, the previous owner obviously took great care of this bag, but any bag is going to show use and hand oils and dirt after a while. So Clemence is a very matte sort of leather. It has very large sort of pebbles or grains in it. You can see that this bag does have a little bit of veining. It's not as severe as a Togo bag would be in terms of veining, but in this light you can see there's a little bit of veining, which it doesn't bother me one bit. I think it just adds to the beauty of the leather. But what they did basically, here were the places where it was very, very slouchy. And they went ahead and went inside the bag, put new stays in. The side of the bag had a huge crease right here from where it literally was starting to fold in on itself. Birkins will do that after so long. When they just lose their structure, they literally just fall forward. They can't stand any longer on their own. So they replaced that, and you can see it's really nice and firm. The hardware, they polish it very, very gently because, you know, it has to be gentle, which they told me, you know, they would do a gentle polish. But, I mean, I'm telling you, the hardware was in great shape to start with, but that plate right there, to me, looks like almost a brand new bag. I mean, it's just incredible. The luster is just beautiful. The handles were in, you know, good shape. They were still standing up, but there was definite glazing wear, so you can see they reglazed it, but just beautifully in a way that it doesn't look like some amateur went in and tried to reglaze it. You know, they matched it to the other glazing that was existing on the bag. Right here on this upper corner, it was worn almost all the way through to the leather. They reglazed that in this whole top portion. And you can see they cleaned the handles so to get any kind of dirt and oil off of it. And there's the rest of the top. The back of the bag was in very good shape also, but it's just been cleaned. And you can hear it, the leather just feels so beautiful. And the color has really been restored to that beautiful brick red. Again, a little bit of veining back there, but that was there before. It just has really been brought out since the conditioning. The sides of this bag were feeling very, very dry and almost like, you know, when your skin's like dry and crepey, that's almost kind of what it felt like. And the glazing here on these gussets was cracking, so they reglazed all of that. And the bottom of the bag had some scuffs and some scratches on it, obviously from, you know, normal use. And the feet, which you probably will have seen in the before picture, were extremely tarnished, almost like a blackish gray color. So they did polish those up. They aren't perfect by any means, but they're definitely a lot better. That was very, very heavy tarnishing on those feet. The one corner that was the worst, I believe, was this one. And you can see how they touched it up there on the corner of the bag. And it really just looks beautiful. It matches perfectly. It doesn't look like somebody took a, you know, Sharpie or a magic marker and touched it up. I mean, these guys know what they're doing, absolutely. Then getting inside of the bag, what I did, I had originally reordered because the organizer I had from before when I owned this bag was it was a Samorga for the Birkin 40. It fits perfectly inside my Neverfull GM, so I just always use it in that bag for when I travel for work. And so I was gonna reorder a Birkin 40 Samorga, but this is actually from the 35 that I had. And I've been using it because I don't want it to like totally distort and, you know, wrench the bag out of shape. So this 35 is actually working perfectly down inside of this Birkin, which is a 40. So I've just been using that, my Samorga. Can't live without my Samorga. So getting inside of the bag then, let me open her up a little bit. The inside was in pretty good shape. It had the pocket here, which I remember Jerusha saying, this pocket here, it would have like kind of sagged open, but it's now totally, you know, flush against the front there of the bag. You can tell the stays have been redone. And then the light's kind of not so good right now, but you can probably, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but they reglazed all along the inside of the bottom of the bag because it was starting to kind of look kind of scuzzy. So that all got cleaned out, reglazed all of these edges, which is just incredible. And all along the top of this bag has been reglazed. There were some definite rubbed spots on the handle. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show. This back handle, sort of where the handle bumps into the bag, and that all has been reglazed and redone to the point where, you know, you can't see the cracks and the rubs. So anyway, that is kind of the spiel on leather surgeons. If you are, you know, if you've purchased these bags, just if they're well taken care of, you know, I don't think you would look at this bag and think it's 20 years old, almost 20 years old. If they're well taken care of, you can find some really nice vintage or older bags, and then just check with leather surgeons either before you buy, which is what I did. I sent them the link to this listing, don't waste their time. Obviously, if you find 5 bags, say, what about this one? What about this? That's not really what they're there for. But definitely reach out to them and say, I'm thinking about buying this vintage bag. What can you do to it, and what will it cost? The cost for the spa and reshape on this bag was $435 US. And that included the shipping to them, the shipping back. I thought it was very fair for what they did, and especially considering the condition that this bag was in compared to how I got it back. The packaging from them was beautiful. Their communication is great. You hear back from them really within the first day after you email them. And they got it done really quickly and sent me the invoice. When I got it, it had beautiful black craft paper all wrapped up, very, very neatly. They had the handles wrapped. It was just, it was beautifully done. And I think that they really do a nice job. So I was happy with what it cost compared to having to send the bag away to an Hermes spa for 6 months, which is usually how long they want to keep the bag, with no guarantees of what it's going to look like when it comes back. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and really just give a shout out to leather surgeons. I think they do a great job. They have a really, really cool niche business going, and they do a nice job at it, in my opinion. So hope this helps if you're looking for a vintage Kelly or Birkin, or even the Chanel bags. They do a great job with Chanel bags as well. I absolutely would use them in the future, and they're a great option, in my opinion, if you're looking into a vintage bag, or if you have a bag that's in need of a little bit of spa treatment. So I hope this was helpful. I will catch you guys in my next video. Take care.